Hey, Trekland, I wanted to make a special visit today and tell you about something that's really exciting going on here in Hollywood, but the whole industry as well. It's the Hollywood Sound Museum, which has been an ongoing thing. It's looking for permanent quarters, but you need to know about it. If you heard a recent Trek Files, you've already met this guy, but here he is in the flesh. Hey, Steve. Hey.
All right, pal.
We are here at the temporary quarters.
Yeah, this is our office, our working office for the Hollywood Sound Museum.
You have an official logo, though.
We have a real logo. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, and we got a few things on display. We got our fully prop room here. But yeah, we're just getting started and we're getting organized, and we can entertain visitors here to learn about what we're all about.
Mm-hmm. Well, starting with the fact, I mean, you've got some displays up for people that actually visit us here. And
right.
I call this fake Burbank part of Glendale.
Yeah, it's right on the edge of the Glendale-Burbank border.
Right off the the 5 and the 134.
Right by Walt Disney Imagineering. Right
starting with the fact that you hear about Foley was the guy named Jack Foley.
Yeah.
And Foley, basically, for the layman, is?
It's a process where it was created by that guy to perform synchronized sound effects to picture. Like footsteps and prop movements and things like that. And we have some famous Foley props right here. These are some items in our collection. These were used in different things. There's the lighter that was used for the sound for John McClane's lighter in Die Hard. Some dice from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and RoboCop's foot sound effects prop. So there's some fun things for people to look at here.
Yeah. So a sound prop is that actual piece of equipment that's used to
performed in sync to picture and recorded and goes in the track.
So when we think of the old like radio days,
pretty much
guys doing the live effects, that's what we're talking about.
Very much like that.
But it wasn't called Foley then.
No, that's not really Foley. Foley is the film.
Because that was done live for broadcast.
Yeah, that's
and Foley is syncing to film.
Exactly. That's the process. The guy who did it came up with that process.
All right. All right. Well, like I said, you're in temporary quarters, but you've got some great exhibits. Like here's a panel for
Jimmy McDonald. Yeah, he was the head of the sound department at Disney for many, many years. Brilliant guy. He would make props that would make the sound. That was his style of work. In fact, we have one of his props right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a squeaker. It's in bad shape, but you can see the Walt Disney Productions little. But yeah, this is a squeaker that they would use to make all kinds of different squeaks.
And a nice panel here too, including the fact, which I knew this but I'd forgotten, that sound guy Jimmy McDonald, pioneer, was also the second voice of Mickey Mouse.
That's right. Right after Walt.
Walt handed off to him, and then he did it till the 70s.
When Wayne Allwine took over, who was another sound effects genius.
And then over here,
down this hall we have different tributes to some of the sound designers that have made notable contributions to the craft, like Ben Burt, who did all the Star Wars sound effects. And there he is recording the bear that would become the Wookiee, the voice of the Wookiee.
Oh.
And here he is.
After some manipulation.
Yeah, here he is recording the guy wires, banging on a guy wire, which became part of the laser blasts.
Whoa, this is a woman. Who let her in that men's world?
Now, this is Delia Derbyshire. She was a pioneer in electronic music, and she's most famous for probably creating the Doctor Who theme.
Oh.
Yeah, Ron Grainer composed it, and she realized it, creating a bunch of loops and edited quarter-inch tape. Each had a separate element. She would play these in sync for the theme.
Wow.
Yeah, she was brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, Steve, now wait a minute. Speaking of women, I was kidding, but you've got some pioneer gear here from one of the pioneer women in the industry, right?
Kay Rose was the first woman to win an Oscar for sound editing. And we have her the moviola that she used on her Oscar-winning film, The River. And this is all some of her gear from those days.
You've got some digital gear too?
Let's go into the other room.
Okay. Ooh. Now, for those who know anything about Hollywood history and insiders or just fan speak, the Wilhelm screen.
That's right. I'm actually producing a documentary on it right now. But here at the museum, we have an interactive exhibit where you can learn more about the Wilhelm screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you can actually hear it and get some examples from it. Yeah, so you can learn the history of that and all the films it was used in. Right here, this is the heart of the museum right here. We have a good chunk of our collection on loaded digitally, so people can come in here and just pick a movie from the menu and listen to sound effects that were created from that film.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Look at this menu.
Yeah.
What's the most unusual and unique you've got here of Star Trek?
This is my friend Kirk Thatcher, who did the voice of the test computer in Star Trek 4. He was one of the associate producers, so he could weasel his way in.
Who said logic is the cement of our civilization with which we ascend from mechanics use reason as our guide?
Oh, yes.
He used a really cheap condenser mic, the kind that built into tape recorders, to make it sound crappy like that.
Correct. Red queen to section 5, grid 6, queen takes knight, rook takes queen, white pawn to section 5, grid 7, pawn takes rook.
He tried to do it as fast as he possibly could, yeah.
What significant contribution to bioengineering was made to Luperian outposts on Clent? Correct.
But it's really fun to listen to just the raw sessions for these things.
Right.
You can learn a lot.
Right.
And here we have some outtakes.
One more time. White queen to section 5, grid 6, queen takes knight, rook takes queen, white pawn to section 5, grid 7, pawn takes rook, checkmate.
What was that? That was him beeping himself.
That's good, yeah. Yeah, they hadn't cut in the sound effect yet, so he did it himself.
On this panel wall of greats, I couldn't help but notice.
There he is,
There he is.
Doug Grindstaff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the supervisor for all those wonderful sound effects.
All the original series, that all the latter day Star Trek sound editors and sound people go back and
There are
those
little
original
snippets of those classic sounds peppered throughout the whole franchise. He really paved the way.
So what's happening is here, you're collecting, you're fundraising, you're planning for eventually a permanent building.
Yes.
Some of the masters have given you their collections. They're saying, "Here, I want this to be part of the museum." And again, sound, like you said, sound gets so little, can often get short shrift. The acting, the special effects, the sets, the cinematography.
All the visual stuff gets a lot of attention.
And I go back to this, as we just saw with the saga of Star Trek the Motion Picture,
Right.
What a lack of sound because of the press time, not for lack of planning. The movie didn't even have what the original series, all the ambient, ship noise, which has now been replaced.
Yeah, they've done a really nice job, especially because they had an Atmos soundtrack and they had so many channels in the theater to fill.
Right.
So yeah.
But to me, that's a perfect example of how sound is overlooked. Steve, this is awesome.
Thank you for coming.
It is amazing that you've already assembled so much, and you're fundraising, but you're also open for business.
People can
such
come
as
in.
it is.
They go to the website, hollywoodsoundmuseum.org. You can make a reservation, come on down here, and I'll show you some stuff.
Okay. If they want to make a donation, is it the same site?
They can go to the same site, hollywoodsoundmuseum.org.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah.